So once again, we're going to be talking about 3 brand new features that we're going to be getting in Grand Theft Auto 6. This is the word on the streets that everybody's talking about for some of the brand new features that we are getting, and this is just 3 of them, part 2, so here we go, which is going to be gas stations, petrol stations, in which we are going to have to fill up our gas tanks in Grand Theft Auto. Now, if you've ever played any type of video game that has to deal with gasoline, me personally, I played a lot of video games. One of the most recognizable ones would probably be like Fortnite, something like Mad Max. You know, all those games right there, they have vehicles in them, and those vehicles need gas, and eventually you're going to have to fill them up. Is it really that big of a deal? Personally, in my own experience, I never really had that big of a deal with having to fill up gas tanks in games, and I think it brings a little bit more immersiveness. Now, here's something you may or may not know. In GTA RP, which is role-playing, you actually have to get gas in your vehicles. I don't think I've played on an RP server on 5M to where I didn't have to get gas for a vehicle at some point, or you just go grab a new vehicle that has gas in it already because it's Grand Theft Auto, which is something that you might want to think about too for Grand Theft Auto 6. If people are going to be at the gas station gassing up, that's going to make a gas station potentially a target for snipers and or people just have like an RPG or maybe set some bombs or something down there waiting for a suspected player for like GTA6 Online, where we're actually going to be having to fill up our gas tanks and or like maybe have a backup tank, which is something that you actually get in Mad Max, which is really cool. If you've ever played that game, you would know what I'm talking about. But personally, I don't really care for the fact that we have to get gas. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal, and I think it will actually add to the immersiveness of Grand Theft Auto 6, actually having to get gas for our vehicles, making it just a little bit more realistic, because in Grand Theft Auto 5, you could drive around for forever, and you never have to use any type of gas situation, and there are gas stations in Los Santos, so that's what makes me wonder too if they were going to add that addition necessarily into Grand Theft Auto 5 at some point. But at this time, I don't think that we're going to be seeing gas stations a thing necessarily, at least not on consoles, but on PC. I would say 5M with the role-playing, yeah, there's definitely gas over there, and we have to use it, and it's really not that big a deal. So you're going to have to let us know down in the comment sections below. Do you care about gas? Do you think it would be really that big of a deal? Do you think it would make the game a little bit more immersive? Because in my personal opinion, I think that adding the ability of us having to fill up our gas tanks would make the game a bit more realistic, which hopefully that's what they're going to be going for, and it's not going to necessarily cost a whole bunch of money, and we're not going to be, you know, going through a whole bunch of gas necessarily, like without having to, you know, fill up our tanks and running out of gas on a freeway or something. So let us know down in the comment sections below. Would you like to see gas in Grand Theft Auto 6 being the thing that we have to do? Petrol stations? Yes, no? Anyways, let's move on to the next thing. Now, the next feature that I wanted to go ahead and talk about is pets. They're actually being pet stores in Grand Theft Auto 6. This has been going around a lot of social medias, and this is something that I wanted to talk about in this video, is the ability of us owning pets in Grand Theft Auto 6, potentially Grand Theft Auto 6 Online. Now, if you've ever played Grand Theft Auto 5, you would know at some point, playing as Franklin, you can go to Franklin's house that Lester bought them, and you can go pick up Chop, and you can ride around with Chop. Chop is going to back you up in gunfights. You also are given a baseball to where you can throw the baseball, and Chop goes and gets the baseball and brings it back to you. So you actually get to interact with Chop in Grand Theft Auto 5, which is something I believe would be really cool if they implemented some sort of pet-like thing in Grand Theft Auto 6, where maybe we could get like an attack dog or something like that, or maybe I've even seen pictures of, you know, Lucia with an alligator on a leash or something like that, which would be really cool to actually have like a pet alligator in Grand Theft Auto 6. Seeing as how we're going to be in Florida and the Everglades is known for like alligators and crocodiles and stuff like that. Or maybe we could get like something like a little kitty cat, or I don't know, maybe a bird or a parrot to go with us right on our shoulders. We're sailing the seas of the tropical Keys there in Florida. I'm not quite sure, but I think they're definitely probably going to be having something like this implemented into Grand Theft Auto 6. I definitely for surely feel like we are going to be getting animals as well, because on new gen consoles not that long ago, Rockstar did actually implement having animals in Grand Theft Auto 5, which is actually kind of weird, because when you've been playing the game for like the last 10 years and then Rockstar finally decides to bring in animals, when you run across animals, it's just like a little bit weird because you're not necessarily used to them. At least I'm not yet, especially some of the big whales that you can find out in the ocean. The only sad thing is they didn't add sharks in Grand Theft Auto 5, and I hope that sharks are going to be a part of Grand Theft Auto 6. And if you could have a shark as a pet in like a Shark Tank or something like that, that is definitely something I want to own in Grand Theft Auto 6. Or just particularly getting like an attack dog, or maybe an attack cat or something like that. Maybe, I don't know what the idea is here, but it's really cool, the idea too, the fact that, you know, we get to go into Grand Theft Auto 5 as Franklin, pick up Chop, and you get to go have a load of fun with him, basically, and Chop is gonna back us up, so that's really cool there. So you guys are gonna have to let us know down in the comment sections below. Do you think pet stores and getting pets in Grand Theft Auto 6 would be really cool? Because I kind of think it would be, although it'd be a little bit sad, and there'd probably be a lot of animal abuse, particularly going on in that game. You know, especially if you send like your attack dog after a player, and they decide to like chuck some grenades at your dog or something like that. It's not gonna be a happy situation on both ends. But anyways, from there, yeah, let us know down in the comment sections below. Would you like to have pets in Grand Theft Auto 6? Kind of like what we have in Grand Theft Auto 5 with Franklin here, being able to, like, you know, take Chop with you and all that. All right, so let's get on to the next feature. Now, without trying to take up too much of your time, the last feature that I wanted to go ahead and talk about is something that we actually are probably going to be getting in Grand Theft Auto 6, which is going to be some sort of ability of owning mansions, which is something that's been anticipated of us owning in Grand Theft Auto 5, but I'm sorry to say, at this time, I don't think that we're going to be able to own mansions really ever in Grand Theft Auto 5. Not like they're going to put in a whole bunch of new, you know, fancy hills on the hilltop and throughout Los Santos necessarily to where we get to own them, because you could always think of it like this necessarily. Of something that I've thought of is, if I own this mansion, that means another player could own that mansion. So does that make us necessarily roommates if we're in the same session and I gotta go to my mansion and they're at the same mansion or something like that, and they're just waiting outside with an RPG to blow me up because they don't like me as a roommate? I can totally imagine that being a scenario and a situation in Grand Theft Auto, unless you're in an invite only session necessarily, and there's not technically anybody else that owns the same mansion as you, even though we do have, you know, houses and other things like that that you can already own as the same house as someone else in Grand Theft Auto. That's not like already a thing in the game, but it is supposed to be something that we are going to be getting in Grand Theft Auto 6. Now, if you know about Florida, Florida is full of, you know, rich neighborhoods necessarily, to where there's going to be lots of possibility for us to be able to actually own a mansion, which is going to be super high price, which another thing that supposedly that is going to go along with the mansion's ability, or just owning, you know, housing in general, is the ability of buying furniture and customizing the, you know, the layout of our apartments ourselves. Now, if you've ever played a game Scarface, that's like the same thing with like Scarface. So you could go ahead and pimp out your mansion in Scarface, which is really cool. Getting new, you know, decorations, super expensive artwork, and other things like that, which I'm sure I could totally see Rockstar implementing into their game to help players spend more of their money to try to get them to twist their arm to Munson of buying some shark cards. Of course, there's going to be a lot of money, you know, opportunities probably in the game, but there's also going to be a lot of things to where there's going to be taking a lot of money away from us potentially, like all the expensive cars they're going to be having in the game, the expensive properties, also probably expensive weaponry, expensive ammunition, and a bunch of other stuff that's probably going to be expensive, just like Grand Theft Auto 5, with probably a little bit higher of a price tag. But I would definitely love to see mansions in Grand Theft Auto 6. Owning a big mansion would be something totally cool, because it's been something that I've been wanting to do in Grand Theft Auto 5. And once again, like what I said before, the whole community has anticipated that this is something that we were going to get a long time ago, is a mansion DLC. But unfortunately at this time, we never got it. And since the game is so old, going on 11 years, I don't think we're going to be getting that mansion DLC. But it's more of a possibility for Grand Theft Auto 6. And maybe they're saving the best for, you know, the next gen of Grand Theft Auto here. So you guys are gonna have to let us know down in the comment sections below. Would you like to see and own a mansion in Grand Theft Auto 6? That's got to be a definite yes, I'm pretty sure. So you're also gonna have to let me know, do you think any of these features are gonna be coming into Grand Theft Auto 6? And if so, once again, let us know down in that comment sections below so we can talk about this. Awesome features potentially that are gonna be happening and going on in Grand Theft Auto 6 at some point. So anyways, from there, if you guys enjoyed this video and it was helpful in any way, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe for new content, leave comments. Thank you for watching. My name is GRAVESIGHT, and I'll see you in the next one. So peace!